Okay, so if you're listening to this, chances are you're familiar with that feeling, that attention crisis thing. It's like this constant low-level buzz of anxiety, you know, from switching tasks all the time.
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
trying to write something important, something high value, but like every 5 minutes, ping.
Right. There goes your focus. Pulled towards an email, a notification.
Or just a quick scroll, thinking it'll only be a second.
And suddenly you're overwhelmed, feel super busy, but then the day ends and you look back and think,
What did I actually achieve? Something truly meaningful. Often, not much.
it's a common trap.
But what if, just what if success in this, hyper-connected world wasn't just about grinding harder or longer hours?
Right. What if there's another way?
Exactly. What if the real key was learning how to work deeper?
Ah, now we're talking.
So today, that's what we're doing, a deep dive into the source material around Cal Newport's concept, deep work.
A really influential idea.
Totally. It's basically a method designed to help you get your focus back and really boost the quality of what you produce.
Yeah.
Our mission here is simple. Give you the shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
We're pulling out the core definition, the value proposition behind it, and basically every actionable rule we could find in the sources.
So you can get it, understand how to actually use this philosophy, maybe starting today.
Exactly.
And what's really interesting is how the sources frame this ability to focus. They don't just call it a skill.
No.
They argue it's like a superpower.
Yeah.
Seriously. The ability for intense, sustained concentration without distraction. That's becoming the most valuable and rare thing in the modern workplace.
A superpower. I like that. Because everyone else is just reacting.
Pretty much. Trapped in that loop, right? Responding to pings, constant multitasking, which we know doesn't really work.
Yeah.
So the folks who master this deep work thing, they're going to learn faster, produce way better results, elite level stuff.
And feel better doing it.
Yes, and critically find that sense of craftsmanship, real fulfillment in what they do. It's not just about output.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with the definition. Because I think it's easy to get it wrong.
Right.
Like, say I'm at my desk and I'm really concentrating hard, maybe on answering a bunch of tricky emails. Does that count? Is that deep work?
That's the perfect question. Because it highlights the difference.
Yeah.
The sources are really specific here. Deep work isn't just concentration. It's defined as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit.
Ah, okay. Push your cognitive capabilities. That's the kicker, isn't it?
That's the key part. It means the work has to be hard, intellectually demanding. It requires effort that actually makes you better, improves your skills.
So if I'm concentrating, but it's on something I already know how to do easily, like sorting my inbox or maybe filling out expense reports.
Nope, not deep work. That's important, but it doesn't meet the definition. Exactly. The sources really hammer this home. True success, like real innovation or top-tier output, it comes from these long, uninterrupted stretches.
Where you're building mental muscle.
You got it. Actively building new connections in your brain. And that just can't happen when you're multitasking. The sources basically call multitasking a productivity myth.
Right. Which brings us nicely to the other side of the coin. The enemy of deep work. Shallow work.
The enemy indeed.
Tell us how the sources define that. Maybe give us some examples that, hit close to home for most of us.
Sure. Shallow work, according to the sources, is basically the non-cognitively demanding stuff. Logistical tasks, often done while you're distracted.
Easy to replicate, doesn't create much new value.
Precisely. And think beyond just answering a simple email. It's those endless status update meetings.
Yeah.
Or debating font sizes on a presentation for half an hour.
We've been there.
Constantly monitoring Slack channels just in case, or, refreshing your sales dashboard 10 times before lunch.
It's all that busy work, isn't it? The stuff that makes us feel productive, feel necessary, because we're constantly moving.
Right. Moving, but not necessarily moving forward.
But ultimately, it doesn't really shift the needle on our careers or the quality of what we're creating.
Exactly. And this is why the book, or the source material around it, is structured so effectively. The first part is all about why you should care about escaping this shallow trap.
Making the case first.
Yeah, the argument's got 3 parts. 1, depth work is valuable economically. It produces rare, high-quality stuff others can't easily copy.
Okay.
2, it's rare because our modern work environments, frankly, they actively discourage it. Open offices, constant notifications.
Yeah, the default is distraction.
Totally. And 3, It's meaningful psychologically. It connects you back to the craft of your work. So master this. You're building a serious, hard-to-replicate asset.
It's like if we connect this to the bigger picture, the sources sort of argue knowledge workers need to be like intellectual athletes.
That's a great analogy.
You wouldn't expect an Olympian to win gold just by, I don't know, stretching and filing paperwork all day, right?
Exactly. They need that intense, focused practice, rigorous training.
So if you want world-class output,
You need world-class input. And that demands dedication to the deep work process itself.
okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for me. We've talked about the what, now the how.
Right, the practical stuff.
Because deep work sounds great, maybe a bit aspirational. I mean, most of us aren't monks. We work in busy offices or remotely with family around constant digital pings.
Yeah, the reality of modern work.
So how do the sources say we can realistically create these distraction-free zones? How do we actually enforce it?
And that's the challenge, isn't it? Implementation. The
Mhm.
sources are clear. You can't just wait for inspiration to strike or for a magically quiet day.
Because that day never comes.
Never. It has to be about discipline, structure, routine. You have to actively impose it. Schedule concentration like you schedule important meetings, maybe even more aggressively.
Okay, so that leads us right into the practical rules or strategies. Let's tackle the first couple, which seem to be all about building that structure.
Exactly. Rule number 1 is essentially work deeply. Set up clear boundaries. Create rituals around your focus time.
Rituals. Like what?
Well, the sources actually outline 4 different philosophies for how to structure this, which is great because it shows there's flexibility. It's not one size fits all.
Okay, what are they?
So first, you've got the monastic approach. Think total isolation, cutting off almost all shallow distractions. Probably best suited for, academics or novelists, maybe.
Right, not practical for most.
Probably not. Then there's the bimodal approach. This is where you divide your time into clear blocks. You might schedule, say, a full week or several days purely for deep work, totally offline maybe.
Like a deep work retreat.
Exactly. And then the rest of your time is dedicated to the shallow, collaborative stuff.
Okay, better. But what about the rest of us who, can't just disappear for a week to a cabin?
That's where the rhythmic and journalistic styles come in. Rhythmic is about consistency, building a regular habit, like maybe blocking out the first 90 minutes of every single workday for deep work. Same time, every day. Chain linking those sessions.
Okay, that sounds more doable for many people.
Yeah.
90 minutes daily.
Totally.
Oh.
And then there's journalistic. This is for people whose schedules are really unpredictable. They need to be able to switch into deep work mode quickly whenever a pocket of time opens up. Maybe 20 minutes here, an hour there.
Like a journalist on a deadline, grabbing time when they can.
Precisely. Though the sources do warn this is the hardest one to do well. It requires intense mental discipline to switch so quickly.
So rule number 2 kind of flows directly from that, doesn't it? It's simply schedule these blocks, whatever style you choose.
Yes. Make it concrete. Put it on your calendar.
It shifts focus from being this vague intention, oh, I'll try to concentrate later when things quiet down, to an active commitment.
A non-negotiable appointment with your most important work. And the sources are practical, like you said. They suggest even 60 to 90 minutes a day done consistently.
Can create huge results over time, compound interest for your brain.
Yeah, exactly. And a key insight here is that the schedule itself helps. It reduces decision fatigue. You don't wake up and waste mental energy figuring out when or what deep work to do.
The calendar just tells you, block starts now, work on Project X.
Removes the friction.
Okay, let's move to rule 3. This is the one I find really counterintuitive, especially today. Embrace boredom.
Yes. This one trips people up.
We've basically trained our brains to panic at the first sign of silence or inactivity, haven't we? We reach for the phone instantly.
We have. And the sources argue that if your mind gets used to that constant drip feed of novelty, checking your phone in line, scrolling between tasks, it just won't have the stamina for real deep work.
Like mental fitness.
Exactly. When you finally sit down for that tough, requires deep focus task, your brain immediately starts craving the easy hit, the distraction it's used to.
It screams for the phone.
It does. It hasn't been trained to handle the quiet, the lack of external stimulation.
So it's like asking a couch potato to suddenly run a 10K. How do you actually train your brain for this? How do you embrace boredom without just, spacing out?
It requires deliberate practice, like a mental workout. The sources suggest things like, okay, you're waiting somewhere for 15, 20 minutes. Actively resist pulling out your phone.
Just stand there.
Or let your mind wander. Or maybe focus intently on one specific problem you're trying to solve. The point is, you're denying the craving for easy stimulus.
You're building the concentration muscle.
Right. You're proving to your brain it can handle not being entertained for a few minutes. If you can't handle 20 minutes of unstructured time, how are you going to handle 3 hours of intense, focused work?
Good point. Makes sense. But training for silence only works if you also deal with the main noise source, right?
Absolutely. Which brings us to our digital tools.
Rule number 4, intentional digital use, which one source very boldly titles, "Quit social media."
Yeah, that title gets attention. It's deliberately provocative.
A bit clickbaity.
Maybe a little, but the underlying message isn't necessarily about total digital detox for everyone. It's about intention.
Okay.
The real advice is to adopt what Newport calls the craftsman approach to tool selection, basically. Use a tool deliberately because it clearly helps you, or don't use it at all.
So, function over FOMO.
Pretty much. You need to define your main professional goals, your high-level objectives first. Then you look at your digital tools, social media, apps, whatever, and ask, does this tool offer a substantial, direct, positive benefit towards achieving those specific goals?
And if the answer is fuzzy,
Or if the benefits are minor compared to the massive cost in terms of fractured attention, then the advice is to seriously consider quitting it, or at least drastically limiting its use.
so it's not inherently anti-social media, it's anti-mindless use of it. If you're, say, a marketer using Instagram very strategically for campaigns.
That could potentially be part of your work, maybe even deep work if you're crafting complex campaigns. But if you spend that same hour just scrolling, consuming, reacting...
Classic shallow work. Draining your focus.
Exactly. It's about ruthlessly evaluating, is this tool serving my goals, or am I serving the tool's goal of capturing my attention?
That's a powerful filter. Asking who's serving whom.
Yeah. What specific value does this provide that outweighs the known significant costs to my ability to concentrate? If you can't answer that clearly, maybe it's time to ditch it.
Okay. That idea of attention drain, it connects right into the flip side of deep work, all that shallow work we do. Rule number 5 is drain the shallows.
Right. Actively reduce the time spent on low-value tasks.
But how? These things feel necessary sometimes. Replying to emails, attending meetings.
This is where you need a bit of methodology. The sources push for quantifying it almost. Try to estimate the shallowness of a task.
How do you score shallowness?
One way is to ask, how long would it take to train a smart recent graduate or an intern to do this task? If the answer is not long, it's likely shallow.
Okay.
Or, how much genuine new value does this task create towards your most important professional goals? If it's minimal or just keeps things ticking over, likely shallow.
So things that require lots of fragmented attention but don't really move the big projects forward.
Bingo! Those are the prime candidates for draining. You need to ruthlessly minimize, delegate, automate, or just eliminate them.
But how does someone realistically start categorizing all their tasks like that? It sounds like it could become another overwhelming task itself.
Fair point. The sources suggest a more structural approach too. Set a hard time budget for shallow work.
Like only allow X hours per day for it.
Exactly. Figure out how many hours of deep work you can realistically schedule. Let's say it's 3 hours a day. Then you actively constrain the time available for everything else. The emails, the meetings, the admin.
You define your day by the deep blocks first.
Yes. That forces the issue. You have to become more efficient with the shallow stuff or get rid of it because the time literally isn't there anymore. It's reserved.
That makes sense. It forces prioritization.
And it does. And this links perfectly to Newport's favorite quote he mentions often, which kind of sums up this whole philosophy of focus and elimination.
What's the quote?
He says, clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not.
Ooh, that's good. Simple but powerful.
Right. Once you truly identify your high-value, deep work activities, the stuff that uses your unique skills to the limit, it suddenly becomes much clearer which other tasks are just filler.
Noise. Distractions masquerading as work.
Yeah.
If it's not essential for the deep stuff, maybe it's not essential, period.
That's the mindset shift.
Okay, so we've scheduled deep work, embraced boredom, tamed our tools, drained the shallows. What's the final piece? How do we protect this?
Right. To make sure all that focused effort isn't undone by lingering work thoughts, and to allow for genuine rest, the sources stress the importance of a shutdown ritual.
A ritual. Not just like closing the laptop and walking away.
Definitely not. It needs to be more deliberate. A specific, consistent end-of-day routine.
What does it involve?
It could be a few things. Maybe quickly reviewing your task list, migrating unfinished items, making a clear plan for what needs attention tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe even saying a specific phrase out loud like shut down complete. The key is that it sends a clear signal to your brain. The workday is done. Finished.
So it stops those work problems from bouncing around in your head all evening.
Exactly. It
Right.
prevents that mental residue, that task switching, even when you're supposed to be off. It allows your subconscious to truly rest and consolidate, getting you ready for the next day's deep work block. It's like setting a cognitive boundary.
Okay, wow. That's a lot of actionable stuff there. So pulling it all together, what does this really mean for you, the listener? You're maybe looking at your packed calendar, your overflowing inbox.
Well, the conclusion from the sources is pretty clear. If you can master this deep work approach, you'll likely achieve significantly more and higher quality work, probably in less total time.
More output, less time. Sounds good.
Plus, less stress from feeling constantly behind, and maybe, just maybe, a more focused, fulfilling professional life. It's presented not just as a productivity trick, but as a real strategic edge.
And to underline how well regarded this idea is, the sources we looked at give the book a really high rating, right? Like 4.8 out of 5.
Yeah, incredibly high. It signals a strong consensus that this is pretty essential stuff for anyone trying to excel today.
So the final takeaway.
Remember, your focus is your greatest asset. Protect it. Cultivate it.
And if you take just one thing away from this deep dive, maybe consider this challenge. It builds on that drain the shallows idea.
Oh, yeah.
Look at your schedule.
Right.
Right now or later today. Find one low-value reactive task. Maybe it's that internal status meeting you dread or an hour you spend fiddling with low-impact reports. Could you eliminate it? Or drastically shorten it? Just one thing.
Find that pocket of time.
Do that. And right there, you've created the space. Schedule your first 60 or 90-minute deep work block in that slot. Put it on the calendar.
Treat it like it's mission critical.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
just begin the work of concentration.
Yeah.